All right, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Division 2 Championship here at ISRL Esports. It is the final round, round 16 out of 16, the finale here, and we have a fantastic race for you. It is the Brazilian Grand Prix here around Sao Paulo circuit, and my oh my, what a race this is going to be. We are just getting ready, just getting set for our short qualifying session, as we already have the likes of CRL Mark hitting the track, getting an outlap set up and ready to go. Now, speaking of CRL Mark, it's something I'm going to talk about right here, right now, since I have the time, but also something I most likely will be repeating just to fill everybody in, as well as to maybe add a tiny little bit of pressure if we have some of the drivers watching the stream here today. We have a battle for the championship on our hands here that has come down to the final race of the season here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. It is the Alfa Romeo, on your screen of CRL Mark, who is currently in second in the championship with 311 points. But leading the way, it is the Ferrari of ISRL Nole 0231, equally on an outlap with 351 points. There is a gap of exactly 40 points. There is a gap of exactly a victory and a no point showing here between first and second. So it's really coming down to the wire here, but Mark is going to need a little bit of help. Now, he is going to have to essentially take the victory here, as he's starting a flying lap. We'll ride on board, or we'll keep with him here to see what his pace is as he goes purple in Sector 1. But he's going to have to get a victory here around Brazil. But not only that, given the amount of drivers here on the grid, a slightly shortened grid, we are going to have to possibly hope. He's going to need a little bit of help from somebody here, or maybe Nole himself. If Nole is unable to finish this race, takes a DNF, that is going to be it for the championship. It is going to be Mark who's going to jump. But Nole, on the other hand, all he has to do is get 1 point here by the end of it, and he will be champion. So tensions are high for both of these drivers in the Drivers' Championship as it is coming down, and you can see the help that he's getting from his teammate at the end of his flying lap. A little bit of a slipstream, a little bit of a tow, takes the quickest line to the line, and it's a 106.917 to kick off our session here. Let's quickly head down to Nole as he's on a lap right now, coming through Sector 3. Does not have a teammate on the grid here to help out, but he's not going to stop at their quickest line to the line. He goes second fastest. It's a 107.088. So Mark on provisional pole here with now it's Nazareth, who just set a near, so close to a 107 flat. That is going to bring him in P2 as of right now. As you can see, more drivers are setting times here. Chris Nerazzurro in the Mercedes coming through into Sector 3 around essentially not the penultimate corner, but might as well be the penultimate corner here, as we've got this little kink here that is, I believe, considered a corner, as well as this true final corner as far as I'm aware. But I could be wrong. I do not have a track map up, but it's a 108 flat for Chris Nerazzurro to kick off his session. Now, let's move over to a driver in the AlphaTauri that very much so was part of this championship battle for the longest time, but a little bit of string of bad luck, not the best results he was hoping for, has essentially knocked him out of this championship running, but still could very well end up in P3 by the end of it. It is Irish Nude Potato, 262 points. Now, Laparta, who's in third, has 273 points, but Laparta has taken a bit of a leave of absence here. His points still remain on the board, but obviously not here on the grid today. Will not be getting any points. So if Irish Nude Potato can just snag at least 11 points or more, he can leapfrog for that P3, a podium in the Drivers' Championship. Now, another battle we're going to want to watch out for here is the Racing Points. That is D-Morts and Synchro. Synchros and D-Morts are tied, actually, with 218 points apiece here for what is P5 and P6. So, it is a team rivalry here, just a little bit of a team battle that we're going to see. But, of course, they are definitely probably going to want to compete with one another for bragging rights within the team. Of course, your teammate is your biggest rival here on track, given you have the same machinery. It comes down to driver's skill. It comes down to the setup. But here for the Racing Point team, it might just be a battle to determine who is truly the #1 driver of the team. They've both performed very well here through the entirety of the season. As you can see, they're tied with points, and it's going to come down to this final race for them. So definitely expect the Racing Point drivers to maybe have a little bit more of a close communication here on the final race. Maybe not allow one another, battling with one another, I should say, on track a little bit more than maybe what we've seen if they do end up close by. Now, Ariel Jordan, he is currently in P8 in a nice position here with P8. Might be the highest he's going to move up, but he's got Dark a little bit further behind with 148 points. He goes 6th fastest with a 107.4. So just to give everybody an idea here, at least early on, of the battles in the Drivers' Championship. But, of course, the big one we are looking at here, other than the Racing Points, is, of course, the battle between CRL Mark and ISRL Nole, 1st and 4th, respectively, in your qualifying order here with 11 minutes to go, or a little bit more than 11 minutes to go in this qualifying session, as they are the two competitors for the victory of the Drivers' Championship here, as it's coming down to the final race in Brazil. So, here we go, 11 minutes to go. We've got Nick Potgieter currently on a lap right now. He was absolutely strong in Division 3 earlier this season, got promoted up to Division 2, and to be fair, has had some good results here, a strong showing in Division 2. Hasn't missed much of the pace here, if I'm going to be honest. The pace is a little bit different. He's kept up very well, but has been caught up with a few unfortunate incidents through the course of the of his season here in Division 2, but looking to close out the season strong and possibly ride that momentum into next season, Season 5, which of course I'll touch upon it a little bit. We will not have another season here on the F1 2020 version of the video game here. We will be taking a break until F1 2021, and then we will be back for Season 5. But we do have some stuff planned in the meantime. I can summarize that a little bit more a little bit later in the session, as we still have a race on our hands. We have to finish Season 4 for the Division 2 Championship here. Still early days in qualifying, little under 10 minutes to go. Taking a look at the chat right now, we have Michael Fierez, who is our in-house weather reporter for this season, as he's been all season. Thank you so much for the work you do, Michael Fierez. He's reporting cloudy qualifying and a little bit of clouds and sun for the race. So, unlike what we saw in Division 3, to my own dismay, if I'm going to be honest here, it is going to be a dry qualifying and a dry race here for the finale of the session, which means the drivers can push the cars as quickly as they possibly can. You don't have to worry about tiptoeing in the intermediate tires, in the full wet tires, sort of like what we saw in Division 3. But it's still going to be a fantastic race here. It is going to be great to see, and it's, funny enough, a Renault, a reserve here, Ilga, who is currently on pole position with a 106.9 flat. Mark bumped down in second, but I believe he is on a flying lap right now with Cohen in third, and Nole is currently on an out lap, and I believe that might be the Ferrari right behind. Yes, on an out lap right behind the likes of Mark, who is on a flying lap. So, we'll stick with Mark as he's taking us through into Sector 2. He's going nearly 3/10 faster here on this second lap through Sector 2. So he should be on pace to take that P1 right back. as he's going to take that quickest line to the line. Across the line he goes, and it is going to be faster. It's a 106.6. Now, let's quickly ride on board with Nole as he heads down the hill into turn 1, quickly around into turn 2. You see the cut there, optimize the line, don't ride that curve on the exit, you could have a bad time. Up the gears, down the straight as he's catching up with Mark, heading towards the next left-handed corner. Quickly apex on the corner here, hit the other apex. It's a nice little funky wide corner you're taking through, a double apex corner. Up the hill now, quickly on the powers. You head down the gears initially. Now, hard braking zone, very technical sector 2 here. You can see sharp corners, left, right, left. You gotta watch out on the acceleration though, because if you get a little bit too angsty, a little bit too quick on the acceleration, you can lose that car through that corner, the one before that as well. Nole handling it very well, it seems, as he heads towards the near penultimate corner. He's going to use Mark as a little bit of a tow, but he's going to have to get around him here. You love to see that. Mark waiting to the last possible moment to get out of the way, but Nole, he's not going to enjoy it. He's not happy with that lap. He is diving into the pits, and you can see the frustration as he does not bother slowing down. He lets the pit limiter take him through. So I think he might not be overly happy with that lap, with the pace he had. It looked like a very tidy lap, but very possibly Mark playing a little bit of mind games there through Sector 3, maybe not getting out of the way as quickly as he wanted. Definitely not, I don't think, a block there by any means, but I think Mark just knowing the rules, knowing the extent of what he can and can't do here in qualifying, to give himself a slight competitive advantage here through through qualifying leading into the race. But we'll see how it all plays out. Still 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session, and you know that now that we are on track, Mark and Nole are not going to be friends whatsoever. If anything, they might be #1 enemies on track, and that might be the kind of plays that we could see here in qualifying. Maybe a little bit more aggressive defending, a little bit more aggressive moves between the both of them as they are competing for the victory here in the Drivers' Championship. Now let's take a look at Dark, who's crossing the line very shortly here. Quickest line to the line. He goes up to 8th fastest in the Red Bull. Now Dark maybe not having the best season for him here. He's still down in 9th, so has snagged a lot of points here, all considered. But I think for Dark, it might be a season of what could have been. Possibly a few points left on the table for him here so far this season, but he's looking to finish out strong here. He's put his car up to P8, 5 minutes to go in qualifying, so time is slowly ticking down here in this qualifying session. We might see a lot of drivers head towards their final laps now. Speaking of Demorts, he's about to cross the line. He had an invalidated lap time here, but I think now he is going to be starting for real. You can see he's using some ERS, and it looks like now he is going through his flying lap. So we'll stick with Demorts around the corner here on the racing point. He is the lead racing point in qualifying as Synchro's in the pits down in P9. This is the other battle for the Drivers' Championship that we are keeping an eye on. So they may or may not get a little bit more camera time here this race than they might have had previously, just so we can keep an eye on where they all are. But here comes Demorts through Sector 2, looking pretty tidy there. Ooh, almost a little bit of a tank slapper there from that angle. You can see the angle of the car completely shifting, as hard to tell if that was just his steering or if there was a little bit of a moment. We'll take a look at the Sector 2 time. He is actually about 4.5 tenths slower than his best time, so I don't think this is going to be a lap to remember. You can see here it looks like he is going to be diving into the pits. Yes, he will. Not going to waste any time on that. Not going to bother going around track again, because he can still head for one more lap. Now, other thing I noticed as well, as we'll take a look here, Michael Fear is about to cross the line, is Ephraim Tabone down in P10 right now, but he is out of qualifying, so I think he might have had a moment somewhere along the way, as he is currently in 10th. I did see Jordan just cross the line, but I think he's starting a flying... No, that wasn't Jordan crossing the line. That was Irish Newt Potato just starting what very well could be his final flying lap of the session. Now, looking at the fitted tires, everybody is going to be opting for a set of soft tires here, as Irish Newt Potato, actually no, he goes up to P2, so I think he had just set a lap right now, unless that was an earlier lap. I'll have to quickly take a peek at that, because I don't remember seeing Irish Newt Potato. It looks like he's running at least a second lap here, as far as the telemetry is saying, with his ERS active, but up into P2, he's looking to get involved possibly, maybe play some spoilers in this championship battle here. Jordan crossed the line. He went 2.5 tenths faster with a 107.198 up to P8 right now, as Ephraim gets knocked down to P11. We've got a few out laps here, and I think within the next few moments we're going to see maybe the likes of Mark, Cohen, Ilgab, Demortz head out on track to set one last final lap. And Irish Newt Potato, he does go faster. He sets a 106.552, so he takes provisional pole position as he is now going to dive into the pits. So Irish Newt Potato showing a lot of pace here around Brazil, definitely proving to be one of his stronger circuits here as far as we can tell, but with a minute and 45 seconds to go in this qualifying session, it is all going to come down to this. It's all going to come down to these final laps that these drivers are going to set. Nazareth is in 6th right now. He is on a flying lap. You can see the AlphaTauri getting out of the way. You love to see that, but this is what it's all going to come down to. Mark is on an outlap. Cohen's on an outlap. Ilgaz on an outlap. Demort's heading for another outlap. Synchro, though, currently on a flying lap. Nole just started his flying lap, so we'll keep an eye out on these drivers here, as let's quickly switch over to, we'll keep an eye out on Nazareth as he's coming through the final few corners now, heading towards the line. We'll see if he can improve on his lap time. We'll keep Synchro on your screen for the moment as he is heading around the end of Sector 2. Is he going faster? Yes, he does. He goes about 1.5 tenths faster here. Now, it's Nazareth, puts himself up into P3. He splits the AlphaTauris here with 45 seconds to go in this qualifying session. Where is Synchro going to put himself? He is going faster as far as Sector 2 is concerned. He does go a tiny little bit faster, but will remain in P10. Now, we'll switch over. Here comes Nole as he is heading towards the line. Not sure if his Sector 2 time has been faster, but this could very well be his final lap. He's taken the quickest line to the line, keeping left. Where's it going to put him? He's going to go P7 as he went essentially identical to the line, so not ideal for him, as now you can see over-revving the car, and I think that's going to be it for his qualifying. So a bit of a disappointing qualifying for Nole here, as he is essentially, that is going to do it here, as qualifying time is up. He has abandoned his lap. Mark is currently on a lap right now, coming through Sector 2. Nazareth is not doing a lap, so that's the end of his qualifying. Cohen is currently on a lap right now. He's currently in 4th. And here comes Ilga. He did hang on to pole position very briefly there through this qualifying session. So as he heads towards the line, let's see, is he going to finish up this lap? No, he's going to dive into the pits, so he's going to be fine with P5. Cohen heading towards the line. Right behind, or right ahead of him, excuse me, is going to be Mark, as we'll see, is he going to take pole? Across the line he goes. Yes, he does. It's a 106.540 compared to Irish Newt Potato's 106.552. Cohen abandoning his lap. He is not going to be setting another lap here. Not going to try to spoil the parade on his teammate. Nole, he's into the pits right now, so he is going to abandon his final lap. He was not setting one. Michael Fierez is going to dive into the pits. Let's see what Chris Narazuro does. It won't matter, though, because that's an invalidated lap time here. So, that is going to do it for qualifying, and for Mark, his job, at the very least, is half done. He's got that pole position. Now he's going to have to survive 36 laps here around Sao Paulo circuit here for the Brazilian Grand Prix and finish the race in P1. but also very well maybe hope that Nole has maybe a bit of a moment, makes some friends with a wall. Nole, though, he is going to do everything he possibly can to just snag at least 1 point. The more the merrier for him. But as far as qualifying is concerned, it is Mark on pole. 1/100th behind is Irish New Potato in the AlphaTauri, with Isnazarus rounding out P3. Cohen is going to start alongside of him P4. Row 3 is Demorts and Ilga, Nole, Jordan, Dark, and Synchro rounding out the top 10, with Ephron, Potgetter, Michael Furis, and Chris Nerazzurro rounding out the bottom 4 drivers from P11 down to P14. So there you have it. It has been qualifying, and we are going to be jumping into the race in just a few moments. As the weather predicted, it is sunny, a little bit of clouds in the sky, perfect conditions for racing. As Ilga hits that ready up button, we will be jumping into the race very quickly. So I will build the anticipation. I will be back in just a moment. I'm going to take a quick sip of water and then take us through the formation lap and, of course, the start of the race. So here we go. The one red light is off. We are starting the formation lap. Welcome to Brazil. Welcome to Sao Paulo circuit. It is the finale here for the ISRL Esports Division 2 Championship, with CRL Mark starting from pole position, as he is doing all he can to try and snag the victory in the Drivers' Championship. Irish New Potato starting in second alongside him, going to be trying to rain on his parade. And so is Nazarus down in third. Expect them to be very jumpy off the start. Cohen is going to start in fourth. Demort's rounding out the top 5, as he is currently ahead of his teammate of Synchro in their battle here for the in the drivers' standings, as they are tied for points. The 2 Racing Point drivers are. Ilga is in 6th as a debut reserve here. So very strong showing for him, and we'll see if he can continue this through the course of the race. Nole, the leader of the Drivers' Championship right now, just needs to snag points to confirm his victory. He is in 7th, so he's going to try to do a little bit more than that, but currently he is in 7th, and he does see his rival in P1, with Jordan right behind in 8th, Dark in 9th, and Synchro rounding out the top 10. Best of the rest on the medium tires now. Free choice of tires was Ephron to Bone. He did exit out of qualifying a little bit early here, down in P11. He starts on the mediums. Potgetter also starting on the mediums. Michael Fierez in the McLaren. He is starting on the hard tires here, doing an alternate strategy. Gonna go hards to softs, I believe, with Chris Nerazzurro rounding out the grid in P14. He is putting on the medium tires as well. Here we go. It is time for 36 laps here around Sao Paulo circuit, the Brazilian Grand Prix, the finale of ISRL Esports Division 2 Championship. Here we go. You hear the engines revving. We just need the 5 red lights, and we will be ready to kick things off. Here we go, up to 3, 4, 5 red lights. And the lights are off, and we are racing here as the drivers are heading towards the line, trying to find the leaders here. As here comes Mark heading towards turn 1. You can see the Calamity a little bit further behind. Lots of side-by-side battle between the drivers as they battle for position. There's a piece of front wing falling down. Synchro is falling down the order here early on. We've got 3 wide here near the back of the grid. Nearly 4 wide now as they head towards the next corner. And now things are sorting out 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, it looks like here. Nole is falling down a position, down in 8th now as he's trying to get back ahead of Dark. Let's keep an eye out on this battle. Red Bull versus Ferrari, having to go the long way around. That's not working here in turn 1. And now Jordan putting pressure, but look at Michael Furis. He was trying to put his nose down the outside here as the drivers head towards Sector 2. Not much in terms of overtaking here. Everybody battling for positions in the early stage of the race, but it is still Mark leading the way as they are approaching the final few corners towards the end of turn 1, and it looks like Chris Nerazzurro might have been the Mercedes with wing damage, as he is the only one truly falling off just a tiny little bit here. Now, speaking of, here comes Dark as he is chasing down D-Morts, and it appears as though we've got a tiny little bit of an order here switch. Not necessarily, as Mark is leading. Nazareth is in second. Irish Newt Potato is down in third position here at the end of turn 1. Now the order has changed for real as we've hit the end of sector 1. Everything is getting sorted out. Here comes Dark now, still chasing down D-Morts. He wants to gain a few positions here. He's tired of seeing that Ferrari behind him. Speaking of, here comes the Ferrari of Nole going down the inside, and he does make the move done. He gets it to stick. He is up into P7, back to his starting position, as he is going to take his turn chasing down D-Morts for P6, as he is trying to charge his way back up the grid. Needs to be perfect. Jordan and Dark now going side by side. I think Dark may be struggling in Sector 2 just a tiny little bit, as he's now falling down into 9th position. Jordan up into 8th. They're both on soft tires, but we'll see how this is going to change here as they head down the back straight. Now, between these two drivers, if I ride on board, doesn't look like there's too much being gained. But speaking of gain, here comes Nole gaining on D-Morts. Nearly a tenth of a second behind, now 2/10 as they had to slam on the brakes. Turn 1, unfortunately, showing up a little bit too quickly. But we should have DRS active here on this lap. They both have DRS. Nole pushing those. They're going to try the late braking. No, he's not. D-Morts is still going to hang on to P6. But here we go, lap 3. Are we going to see a third move here into this corner from Nole? He thought about it, but D-Morts covers him off very, very well here, as these positions still remain unchanged as we are heading into the slightly more single file Sector 2 of the track. You've got to hope in Sector 2 that the driver ahead makes a mistake and that you can capitalize on, because if not, it is very, very difficult to make an overtake to gain a position. But now approaching the next opportunity, we're going to have DRS as soon as we get through these kinks. We're still riding on board with Nole as he's charging very quickly now, puts himself alongside of D-Morts. And you can see, I think that position is all done and dusted now. And it is going to be the Ferrari up into P6. So Nole, after not having the ideal qualifying, he is charging up the grid now, finds himself in P6. He's going to have to close up a little bit of a gap now as Ilga is chasing down Cohen. Going to try to make a move around the outside now of this corner. They're going side by side. Is he going to make it stick? We've got 3 moves going on at the same time. Let me quickly go back here. I think this has finally been sorted ever so slightly now between these 3 cars near the back. Potgetter, Michael Fures, and Synchro. I think it was Dark and Jordan changing positions. Cohen now is behind the Renault of Ilga, as Ilga is up into P4 and chasing down Irish Newt Potato to try to snag the podium. Irish Newt Potato, though, he is kept close to Nazareth, but has not tried to re-overtake to snag that P2, snag that second position. But crucially, they've both been keeping Mark on his toes. Mark has not been able to just run away, build a gap. So it is something to keep an eye out, possibly maybe wearing his tires a little bit, similar to Nole. So this race is definitely not a runaway, as Cohen takes a 3-second time penalty. We've got Michael Fures and Synchro now going side by side through turn 1 and turn 2. It looks like it's going to be the McLaren who hangs on to P11, I should say. Synchro now is in 12th position, but he's going to come right back, and Ephraim, I think, is going to want to get involved here. Looks like Michael Fures does break just a little bit later, but he goes slightly wide, which is opening the door right back. Let's quickly ride on board. Here comes Synchro now. He's got the nose down the inside, and he's gonna get the overtake now. Ephraim, though, lurking in the shadows with those medium tires. I think he wants to gain a position on this too, but he's gonna have to be patient now coming through Sector 2, as the opening 5 laps have shown to provided us a lot of battles, I should say, here early on. So let's hope we can keep this up through the entirety of the race. You love to see these battles on track here, as now you can see coming around into Sector 3, heading down the start-finish straight. The gaps for the leaders, the top 3, are still very close. Only a second just about separating the two of them. 3/10 of a second separating Michael Fures and Synchro, as they're still chasing down one another. Now Synchro, he's going to have to get a move on a little bit here. He can't afford to battle with the likes of Michael Fures and Ephraim. He's got to close up to his teammate D-Mort, who's up into P7 as far as their battle is concerned. Now, D-Mort is doing a good job here. Let's get him on your screen now, as he is chasing down Nole. He's in 7th, but his goal here is to get points and finish ahead of his teammate. Now, he probably is aware that Synchro is down in P11 here, as he knows his teammate is behind him on track. So, D-Mort's, though, he's just got to keep up his race, drive clean, not make too many mistakes, and that could be that coveted first driver, number 1 driver title for him as far as the Racing Point Garage is known. But I know somebody who does not like the sound of D-Mort's number 1 Racing Point driver is Synchro. So I think Synchro, he is going to have to find that extra step. He is going to have to close his he's going to have to close up the gap a little bit more than what he has here, but maybe has a strategy planned out for the pit stops. But hang on a minute, we've got oh no, where did I switch over? That's Nazareth going for a spin. I saw him reset on track very briefly. It's gonna bring out a virtual safety car, but it looks like he got caught up trying to overtake Mark, and I think they touched wheels, and through that corner, very difficult to keep the car steady when you do make contact. We saw a few moments like that in Division 3 race not too long ago, but here in Division 2, it's Nazareth down in P4 now. But what happened to Nick Potgetter? Nick Potgetter is out of this race now. I believe he retired in the pit lane, as we are back to green flag racing. Very unfortunate for the Haas driver, as I was too busy trying to catch that overtake. I didn't see what happened to Nick Potgetter. But that is the Haas driver out. A bit of a disappointing end to his Season 4, as it's a DNF on lap 7 at the very most. But we're back to racing. Here comes D-Mort. It's got a great jump off the restart. Going deep, though, into turn 1. He's going to have to get back on track, and he loses out on 2 positions now, maybe 3, as Jordan is trying to get around. They're going side by side now, these two. They both have DRS. It's a drag race to the next corner here, and I think it is going to be Jordan who gets ahead. So a costly mistake from D-Mort, and all of a sudden, although he's 4 seconds behind, look at this. Synchro now sees on his timing tables his teammate right ahead. So this might be that extra jump, that extra motivation, that jump that Synchro is going to need. I did notice just now that Synchro has some end plate damage, though, so that is going to affect him, especially here in Sector 2. Oh no, and that's Chris Nerazzurro having a moment through into turns 1, turns 2, as he is getting back on track. No safety car is coming out for that, as he is going to continue, but Chris Nerazzurro not having the Brazilian Grand Prix he might be hoping for here. Now Cohen and Nazareth are going side by side as they head towards the line. It is going to be Cohen who gets ahead. So Nazareth is continuing to fall now, as I think after that moment, maybe the nerves are working on Nazareth. Maybe he's getting a little bit frustrated. Maybe it's just the tires. They're a little bit more worn after having to take that spin. It's hard to tell, and unfortunately we don't have those wonderful pit box comments like we would here, the driver radio like we would in the real life Formula 1 to see what's going on in the cockpit. But I'm sure it's Nazareth maybe not overly happy with the contact now, but he's got to get back in shape, get back into the mindset. He still has so many laps here, 27 laps that he can push, work his way back up the grid. He's not out of this by a long shot here. Now, Dark is chasing down Nole as he's going to try to take this turn. They've closed up here through into Sector 2. It's now Chris Narazuro, excuse me. He's had enough here as he's dove into the pits. And that is the end of his Brazilian Grand Prix. That is the end of his season. So we're down to 12 runners here as we're starting lap 10. Here comes Dark now. He's going down the outside into turn 1. He does get the move done before turn 1. And it is Dark now who is up into P6. Nole down in 7th position now. But Nole's goal now is to just finish the race in one piece. It's Nazareth and Cohen now are battling it out. It's Nazareth now gets back ahead of the Alfa Romeo. And Demorse and Jordan are still battling it out. Look at this. We still have many battles here as Irish New Potato and Mark are having a battle on track. Give me a moment. What is going on here? Everybody overtaken at the same time. Let's take a look at this. Irish New Potato trying around the outside. Is he going to try a switchback move here? No, he doesn't. Let's ride on board with Irish New Potato as we're probably going to see another attempted move heading down towards turn 1 with the help of DRS. Here we go. He's going to have to get the traction. He does find the traction. How is Mark going to defend? He's going to most likely defend down the inside, he will, trying to close off the outside, but look at the pace difference. Here comes Irish New Potato now around the outside of turn 1. It turns into the inside here. They both get through cleanly, and it's Irish New Potato who takes the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 11 as Mark down in second, but still chasing down. He's coming right back. It's his turn to go around the outside of the next corner. Needs to go a little bit wide. What a battle we're seeing here between these two drivers. You love to see it for the lead of the race. And this is exactly what Nole wanted, not what Mark wanted whatsoever. But Irish New Potato, he came to race here around Brazil. He wants to take this victory. He wants to end his season on a high note, and he's doing a very good job of doing just that here. As though crucially, this battling has actually allowed the likes of Ilga to close right back up to this top 3 and get his nose involved in this battle. You'd love to see this, and maybe with a bit of a distant 4th, you might be able to see Nazareth and Cohen maybe close up if these 3 are going to get involved a little bit more. But we'll see how this all plays out. Mark is, I think, closing back up, but he does not close up enough with DRS into turn 1 to try and fight this position back. Might be trying to conserve tires a tiny little bit now in this stage of the race. But we'll see, not using any ERS here, but heading towards Irish New Potato just has a little bit more pace, it seems, in this stage of the Grand Prix. Now, speaking of, here comes Nole, closing down on Dark with the help of DRS, but did not close down enough. But we've seen Nole pull this move off going into this corner many times before, and will not be doing it, at least as far as this lap is concerned. But you cannot leave your inside open as you head towards what is, I believe, turn 6, because that, if you've got Nole behind you and you leave your inside line open into turn 6, that is going to be the only invitation Nole needs. You won't have to tell him twice about that, as we've seen here already, I think twice this race in the earlier stages. But we are starting lap 13 of the Grand Prix here. Here comes Nole chasing down. He's going to go around the outside. There is Dark on your screen. He does get the overtake done. So into P6 goes Nole now, as he is still chasing down. Mark now falling down a little bit. Ilga gets a very quick overtake. What is going on with Mark? As he was leading the race for the longest time, but now falling down into 3rd. I think those tires might start to be falling off the cliff ever so slightly. His teammate, though, he's coming down for support. Try to limit the damage here as he's chasing down. It's Nazareth, maybe helping his teammate by making Nazareth focus more on the driver behind rather than the driver in front, so that Mark can just focus on closing that gap back up to Ilga. close that gap back up to Irish Sweet Potato, who is already now out of DRS range of Ilga. So Irish Sweet Potato having a fantastic drive here in this stage of the Grand Prix. Although right as I say that, Ilga is closing right back up, but Mark is going to have some DRS. Nazareth is going to have some DRS. So let's see, are these gaps going to close getting into turn 1? There you go, you see them all crossing the line here, flying by, heading down towards turn 1 as more drivers are taking pit stops. Cohen is pitting, Nole is pitting, Dark is pitting, Synchro's pitting. Mark, though, he's trying an overcut on those tires. I thought he was going to pit this lap too, but he's deciding to stay out. He's going to keep this track position for at least one more lap. So must have just been a mistake there from Mark. Maybe not feeling the wear of the tires like I was initially thinking. He's still going to chase down and very well possibly pit with the leaders of this race, the likes of Irish New Potato and Ilga. With Nazareth, D-Morts, Jordan, they're sticking by. Synchro is pitting, though. He's coming out of the pits now, putting on a set of medium tires. D-Morts, though, he stayed out in the softs. So both of these runners are running. They're running interesting strategies here. D-Mort's up to stay out as the lead car, so Synchro is going to put on those fresher tires in their battle. We'll have to see where D-Mort's is going to come out when he decides to pit. Here comes Mark, though. He is taking his pit stop. So is Ilga. Nazareth and Irish New Potato, though, they're staying out for at least one extra lap from these two. Let's see, D-Mort's is staying out. Jordan is pitting off of the soft tires, as it looks like they're all going to be going for the medium tires here for this next stint. Starting lap 15, the gaps have grown just a tiny little bit now with these pit stops. I'm sure they're going to close up before the session is over. Here comes Michael Fures, the only driver on the hard tires. He's running a completely different strategy to everybody. And he's already finding himself up into P5 at this stage of the race. And trying to close up to Ephraim, who's running in P4 on those mediums. But now he's going to have to watch out because Ilga and some of the leaders, they're chasing him down on a much fresher set of medium tires. But they might get caught up in their own battles now, as Mark does get ahead of his teammate, who's a little bit further back in 8th now. Nole, though, he's got himself right back involved with this battle, as he is in P9, but you can see only 2 positions behind Mark in the on the order here. So it looks like, and it looks like Nole is definitely going to go to the end on those hard tires. So I think he's happy with this, with that strategy he's pulled off here with the pit strategy. Here comes Ilgaz. He is chasing down, very quickly moves towards the inside as he does get the overtake on Michael Fures. Here comes Mark, though, as he dive bombs down the inside. I don't think Michael Fures was expecting that, but Mark saw the opportunity and made no mistake to try to put a separation between the likes of him and Nole, as D-Morts is taking a pit stop. Here comes Dark now as he's overtaking. They're going to drag race, and I think it is going to be Dark snagging his position. What about Jordan, though? Where's Jordan going to come out? He's going to end up right behind D-Morts. So it looks like now the likes of Synchro was unable to close up nearly enough time on D-Morts here to possibly make this a bit more of a battle between the 2 racing points. So Synchro maybe not having the race he was hoping for here, and he's going to have to maybe just push that tiny little bit. He did have that wing change that he had to do for the damage on that end plate. So we'll keep an eye out on these two now, as Synchro is probably pushing on those mediums to try to close up, as they're very close. Here comes Jordan now. It's Nazareth, Irish New Potato taking a pit stop. So it's going to be Ephraim now, who is going to be leading the race. And Ilga in second. Irish New Potato now falling just a tiny little bit. Ilga is chasing down Ephraim, and we have... What happened to Irish New Potato? Oh no! Oh, there's his car. Let's quickly see. It's on turn 2, and that is a wheel completely missing from the car of Irish New Potato. Let's ride on board with Synchro here, as we'll try to keep an eye out. Look at that rear tire. It's gone. What happened to Irish New Potato to knock him out of the race? But we have a virtual safety car here. I really don't know what happened. I switched over at the worst possible time, unfortunately. But for Irish New Potato running so well, that is the end of his Brazilian Grand Prix. Very big disappointment for the AlphaTauri driver here, as he was set up to possibly play spoiler, had a strong race, and but unfortunately has come to an end just like that. But we are back to green flag racing. It's the two Renaults leading the way. I'm not too sure if Ephraim is going to fight all that much with his teammate, as they're running different strategies. It might not matter all that much, as Ilga just has much more pace on those fresher mediums. But Mark now unable to get past Ephraim. He's going to have to wait for the next DRS straight, which is going to allow Ilga to create maybe a tiny little bit of a gap. Here comes Mark, though, down the inside. It's a drag race here towards the next corner. It is going to be Mark who gets up into P2. Those 17-lap-old medium tires not doing much of a treat for Ephraim, especially with that virtual safety car, I think, throwing a nail into things as well. But here we go. Things are starting to kick off here. Meanwhile, though, Nole still in 7th and kind of in his own world now, as the likes of Cohen and Nazareth are all chasing down. They're a little bit further ahead, as they've got Michael Fures, who is holding them up. They're trying to get past Michael Fures. Nazareth is going to try to get his dibs, and he might try to he might do this with the help of DRS down the start-finish straight, as Michael Fures is on those much older and harder tire, running a different strategy, looking to go much later. I don't think he was expecting to squeeze a little bit there as they battle for position, but Nazareth does get the overtake done. Let's see, is Cohen, going to try to make a move? No, he's not down this straight, as now he gets the switchback move, finds the traction, and he very quickly gets ahead of Michael Fures, as Michael Fures goes very deep into turn 2. So a nice little move by Cohen, as he is up into P5, still chasing down Nazareth, working his way back up the grid here. Dark and Demorts now so close to one another as they were chasing each other down with the help of DRS, as they are all closing up to Nole. Jordan a little bit further behind, as he is chasing down this gap as well. And but it's Ilga who is leading the way. Mark, though, is down in 2nd position, half a second behind, chasing down, biding his time, maybe in some ERS conservation mode, conserving a tiny little bit of fuel here, working those tires to allow himself to make it comfortably to the end of the race. But I think he's going to try to close this gap or keep it steady. Ephraim, he is pitting off of those medium tires. What's he going to put on now with those mediums? Is he going to go for a set of hards, or is he going to try to take the soft? He's going to put on a set of soft tires, so he's going to try to take them 16 laps to the end of the race, which is going to be asking a lot of the soft tires. But if he can pull it off, great for him. But that very well could be a two-stop strategy. But I think starting on the mediums might have been that downfall, as they're kind of the no man's land tire compared to the hard tires. We can go a little bit longer, pit for hards, or pit for softs, at the end, and really push as long as you can manage those hard tires, build that gap, and hang on to a few positions here, the likes of which Michael Fures is doing. But I think those hard tires are starting to fall off pace just a tiny little bit for him, just looking at the gaps. But on your screen right now, we have Mark chasing down Ilga. The stakes is that Mark needs this win here, and he does get the lead of the race, as he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in process. That is going to help him very much so, as well, actually, maybe not, given the amount of runners we have here. Very unfortunate that we could not get a full grid to make this even more exciting. But it's still exciting nonetheless here, as Dark and Demorts. What happened to Demorts? Oh no, that's Demorts in the wall, and that is no end plate damage for him, no wing damage. But look at who is going to catch right back up. It is going to be Synchro. Now the two racing points find themselves near each other on the track with 15 laps to go. Synchro does have a time penalty, which will not help him at all. But as far as the battle is concerned between these two racing point drivers, for their battle in the Drivers' Championship. This is going to make an absolute treat of a finish for them here, as you thought this was all done and dusted, but a costly mistake makes so that this gap is completely closed up. It's like they wanted us to have this battle here going down to the finale. It's like it was planned, coordinated. It definitely wasn't, but this is what we love to see here, going down into the final race of the season as it is. And this final race has been an absolute fantastic race here so far, and it's definitely going to shape up to be a great finish, as Mark is leading the way of the Grand Prix. Ilga is in second, but keeping very, very close, and keeping very, very close here in this race, it seems, on the likes of Mark in this stage of the race. But you've got the Racing Points chasing each other down. This is what we have on your screen, and Ephraim on those softer tires. He might want to have a little bit of fun with this as well. He might want to get involved in this battle, in this incident, or not in this incident, but in this duel between the two Racing Points. Now, I do see that, I think it was King in the chat, he wanted the ERS. I'm a little bit late on it here, but if I take a look, Mark only down to 40% ERS. Ilga, though, up to nearly 80%. So Ilga does have a slight advantage here, as he was conserving his ERS much more than Mark was here. Nole, though, what's going on? Michael Fears is taking a pit stop here. Okay, I was worried there was an incident there for Michael Fears, but it's just a scheduled pit stop. Nole is pushing. He doesn't have too much ERS, only 20% roughly in the tank for him. Cohen, even less, nearly 10%. He is using up that entire battery for his troubles here. But now, let's keep an eye out with DRS here as they're chasing down. Here comes Ephraim on those soft tires. He's going to try to make a move. He comes close, but not close enough. Will not be able to stick one maybe down the inside or the outside into this lap. He is going to remain in P10, but still chasing down the Racing Point of Synchro here, as we are on lap 23 out of 36. The laps are ticking down now in this Grand Prix. Mark is leading the way. Ilga in second. He has DRS chasing down. Not using much ERS, though, in this stage of the race, though. The top two, the only drivers who have not taken any penalties, though, as far as the top six are concerned. So it looks like penalties might be a little bit of a factor here between now and the end of the race, if the gaps stay as close as they have been through the course of this race. Here comes Dark now, right back on Nole. We'll keep an eye out on this. Ephraim got ahead of Synchro as they head towards turn 1. So now D-Morts might be a little bit happy about that, but don't be cheering too much, as Ephraim is going to chase him down too. Dark and Nole had a battle. Looks like Nole defended Dark very well, as he is going to remain in P5. Dark, though, chasing down on those hard tires. We know Dark loves the hard tires here on this game at just about any track, so he is in his element, is the Red Bull driver, and we'll see if he can make this work for him. Snag an overtake on Nole, maybe try to close this gap to Cohen, who's on the medium tires, but could fall off just a little bit quicker here compared to the tires of Dark and Nole. But let's see, they're heading towards the DRS straight down into turn 1. Ilga is very much closing up, but here we go. Dark and Nole are battling. It is going to be Dark who gets up into P5. He does find that pace. He finds the exit he needed, as he now overtakes Nole to go up into P5 on track. Ephraim sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so 109.2 as the fastest lap here so far. P1 and P2 remain unchanged, as they are in their own universe for this battle. We've got a 3-car battle of Dark, Nole, and Jordan now getting involved on your screen here. And this is what we are currently keeping an eye out, at least in this stage of the race. But I will be switching back over to the lead battle here as the laps are winding down. Lap 25 out of 36 here of this Brazilian Grand Prix. As it stands right now, it will be Nole who is going to be leaving here as the victor in the drivers, but it's a long race to go. Mark is doing everything in his power to try to minimize that, but like I said, he's going to need a little bit of luck. We've got a yellow flag though here, as what happened with this, it might be Synchro, and Cohen is taking a pit stop. He is putting on a different set of tires now. I think he's going to go for the soft tires as Cohen to go to the end of the race, maybe snag a fastest lap, just try to make sure that nobody else gets it. Synchro is now pitting, as that might have been the racing point that had a moment. Look at this. Nole and Jordan, though, very, very close to one another as they're battling it out for P5. Jordan wants to get ahead on the quicker medium tires. He's gonna have to watch out though, because he might have a little bit more wear on those tires than what Nole does in this stage of the race. 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix here, and it is Mark still leading the way, and Ilgad now starting to use a little bit of overtake to try to close up this gap ever so slightly. Mark now takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It's a 108.8. He is doing everything he can now, trying to get his fastest lap. He's trying to build this gap, try to get it to over a second now here, so that he can be a little bit more comfortable. But Ilga is now closing up. He is starting to use some of his overtake. He wants to snag this P1 for himself. He is looking to show off that he can compete with the best of them here in Division 2 at ISRL Esports on his debut reserve, and has had a fantastic showing up until this point here. And we shall see if he can close it out, as now we've got 9 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Mark is leading the way, as I've mentioned here. He's been on his toes. He's got around 30% ERS that he's going to have to manage between now and the end of the race, with Ilga with much more chasing down. So Ilga does have a little bit of an advantage here, but we'll see if he can get an overtake done within the next few laps. You can see Mark defending very, very well here into turn 1, but of course after this next turn section there's going to be another DRS straight, so Mark is going to have to watch out once again as the pressure is being put on by the Renault driver. Here we go. It's of course not going to close up enough though for the overtake, as it's still going to be Mark leading the way. Let's see, we've got a few more battles now. Cohen and Michael Fures, a little bit of a battle here. Cohen goes fastest in Sector 3, as he might be pushing here for a fastest lap of his own on the soft tires, trying to work his way back up the field. And we'll see how this all plays out for him. Next driver up ahead, he's got some clean air, but it's going to be Ephraim, who is just a little bit further ahead, as he's still trying to chase down Demorts in this battle, but has not been able to overtake Demorts, who is on the 11-lap-old medium tires here. So Ephraim has been stuck behind Demorts for the past few laps. I thought that the Renault driver would have been able to get an overtake done by now, but I think but now that I mentioned that, Demorts had a big moment here as he's coming back on track. There goes Cohen there, and Michael Fures is passing him as well. So Demorts down in P10, as he still has a 26-second gap to his teammate now. But we'll see if he's going to have to take a pit stop here, maybe change his tires. Is he going to? No, he's going to continue onwards, so thankfully comes off unscathed, as he's just going to continue onwards. But that gap has closed right back up ever so slightly. 17 seconds now between Demorts and Synchro, with Synchro pushing now on those soft tires from now to the end of the race. But looking at the leaders here, it's a great battle. What happened though? Mark now down in second, as Ilga just found so much more traction. I think Mark might have had a bit of a moment on the exit of that corner, maybe feeling the pressure, getting a little bit too angsty on the acceleration. So Ilga now finds himself leading the race on lap 29, starting lap 30. 6 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and we have a new leader. It is the Renault driver who is leading the way here, in P1. Mark now down in second. Nazareth is in third. He's kept up with them, but falling back ever so slightly. 1.2 seconds behind. Mark is the current gap as of that moment here for the final podium position, and they've all definitely run away from P4, who is just ending Sector 1 now. Let's put on the penalties, though, just to keep an eye out. So Nazareth has 6 seconds. Dark has 6 seconds. Nole has 9 seconds of penalties, so that is definitely not going to help him, as he's got Jordan very close behind. Ephraim has 3 seconds of penalties. Cohen has 6 seconds. Michael Furious has 6 seconds. Demorse has none, and Synchro now has 6 seconds of penalties. So most of the grid have penalties, but Ilga, Mark, and Nole, and Demorse are the 4 drivers who are currently without penalties. Here comes Mark now, making a push. He's going down the inside now. He does get the overtake. So 1 lap later, with 5 laps to go now of the Grand Prix, Mark retakes the lead of the race. Let's see if Ilga is going to close up. No, he's not. Mark, though, used a lot of ERS to get this move done, whereas Ilga still has less in the tank, but still much more than Mark does, as he is able to hang on. He's doing a much better job of conserving his ERS and putting it to use a little bit, just a tiny little bit better, I believe, than what Mark has been able to do through this race, as I think Mark has been using a lot of his battery in order to defend, to hang on to that P1. But Nazareth, though, he has closed right back up on this gap between the front two runners. 1.1 second gap is now at around half a second. So if they keep battling, Nazareth might be able to get involved in this battle as well. Maybe snag an extra position for himself here. As here comes Ilga chasing down. We might see a little bit of switch of position. He's going down the outside. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Look at that. They make contact there as Ilga takes the lead. Here comes Nazareth now chasing down Mark. Let's ride on board with Nazareth. Mark is trying to make that Alfa Romeo as big as he possibly can. Nazareth late braking into the next corner. He's still got the wheel there, trying to force Mark wide. Oh, nearly what happened a few laps ago. Mark, though, having the back out. He sees Nazareth overtake him. I don't think Mark wanted to battle, but I think he noticed the penalties and thought, I can overtake this on penalties anyways. So was not going to try to keep a nose in there as much as he could, but this is not going to help in this battle. I'm not too sure how he felt, though, about this that move with Ilga, but I honestly don't think there was anything wrong with it at first glance, at least from my initial take of the overtake there. But Mark gonna have to keep his head down. He's got some overtake to use, very similar to what Nazareth has. Ilga, though, can now start running away, but they're all going to have DRS as these top 3 runners are chasing each other down. Starting lap 33 out of 36. It is 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix, as it is the Renault of Ilga leading the way, Nazareth in second, and Mark currently rounding out the top 3 on the podium. As mentioned, they're all in no man's land, as Dark is in a very distant 4th position. Nole in 5th, with Jordan, though, keeping Nole honest, though, in P6, and has DRS to help him chase down Nole. Maybe try and get an overtake done in the final 3 laps of the Grand Prix here. But we've got where the battle we're keeping an eye out here is this battle for the leaders, the battle between the top 3. They're all chasing each other down, but Nazareth's very close to Ilga. He's going to try his luck, maybe put that Williams car on the top step of the podium here. But we'll see how this all plays out here in the final few laps of the Grand Prix. Here we go. Are we going to see an overtake going into turn 1? He's closing. He's going to go down the inside as Ilga defends down the outside. We've seen this many times before. Let's take a look. There's still, oh, that was Nazareth being forced wide, but he's keeping his nose in there. He's saying, you forced me wide, I'm sticking with you, and he gets the overtake done. Now Mark is going side by side with Ilga. Costly moment. Mark, though, he's trying to keep his nose in there. He does get ahead as it's going to be Ilga in P2, and Nazareth, though, leading the way. Ilga down in third, Mark in second right now, as he is now going to try to chase down Nazareth. So, a little bit of an aggressive defense for Ilga proved to be a little bit costly for the Renault driver, as Mark finds himself now up in the second, and Nazareth is in the lead of the race in the closing stages here. They're going to start the penultimate lap. It's going to be lap 35 out of 36 once they cross the line. Let's see, is Mark going to have any DRS? Yes, he does. Ilga will have some as well. How is this going to close up? Not much ERS in the tank for Mark. Not much ERS in the tank for Nazareth. Ilga still has most DRS, but he's definitely worn it out as he is using a whole bunch to try to close up to these front two runners. There's Synchro, though, a little bit of a blue flag there as he is allowing the leaders to go through. It's the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. D-Mort's getting ahead of Michael Fierez as he is taking a pit stop. Here is Michael Fierez, but we're still keeping an eye out. Sector 2, a little bit more single file, but all these drivers have taken 3-second time penalties, though. Nazareth is up to 6. Mark is up to 3, Ilga up to 3, so they've just got to keep this gap to within 6 seconds and not make any more unforced errors, and this order could very well change as they're coming around the final corner, heading towards the line to start their final lap. Are we going to see a push for overtake? You can see Mark is using up a decent amount of fuel here as he's going to try to hang on to the end of the race. Ilga much better on fuel as, oh my, that was Nazareth going very deep into turn 1. Nearly opened that door right up to Mark. Here we go, though. Mark is now going to push. He's got some ERS, using up all in the tank. He's going down the inside now. We've seen this once before. How is this going to play out here on the final lap? It is still going to be Nazareth, who's in P1 on track. Mark in second. Ilga, though, got himself right involved. Synchro, though, trying to unlap himself as he's getting involved in this battle here, as that could be a possible moment, as you don't want to get involved with the lead battle here, with the lead lap. Yeah, that could very well be a penalty coming there if it is reported for ignoring those blue flags and not allowing the lead runners to go through. But it makes for great racing here, as I think Synchro just wants his final lap to be able to race, but it's all going to be for naught here, as here we go towards the line. Nazareth, 9 seconds of penalties. He's going to cross the line as the victor here, but it's going to be Mark who takes the win, in style with some contact, as Ilga's in second. Nazareth falls down to third there, as like I said, they cross the line in style. Here comes Dark now across the line in P4, but it might not matter as Nole does what he has to do. He is in P5 on track, but he is in P1 in the Drivers' Championship. He is your winner, as he does snag points, falling down to P7, but it is going to be enough, as it's going to be Nole who is your winner in the Drivers' Championship, but Mark your winner on track. And that was a very, very, very exciting Brazilian Grand Prix. What we lacked in drivers here today for the finale definitely made up for in the battles, in the pace, everything you would have wanted to hope to see here we got in this race. And what a way to cap off season 4 of the Division 2 Championship in ISRL Esports. But it is going to be Mark who is in P1 on track, but it's Nole who is in P1 as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned. So congratulations to him. Enjoy that purple name for another season now, as he does get that purple Discord name. He does get to lift the Division 2 trophy. He is the champion here, as it has been officially crowned. But one last time, the order, it is Mark who takes P1 on track. He is the winner of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Ilga from 6th on the grid up to 2nd. Fantastic drive for him in his debut in the Renault, with It's Nazareth rounding out the podium, rounding out the top 3. Jordan, he is in 4th position. Dark rounding out the top 5. Ephraim is in 6th. Nole in 7th. So did what he had to do there this race. Demort's in 8th. Cohen in 9th. And it is going to be Michael Fures who rounds out the top 10 here on track, with Synchro, Irish Nude Potato, Chris Nerozuro, and Pot Getter the final runners. But Nude Potato, Nerozuro, and Synchro not finishing. They had retired a little bit early, so will not be classified here at the end of this race. But what a race that was. What a way to cap off season 4, I should say. And right as I'm saying that, I didn't even have time to send some post-race interviews. But what a great way to start here with the champion of Division 2, Nole. Nole, can you hear us at all?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Perfect. So I'm going to start off by saying, I've said it before, I'll say it again, congratulations. You are now the official champion of the Division 2. How are you feeling about that?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody from this league. It's been an amazing season. We have some ups, we have some downs, but at the end I have a brilliant battle with Mark. So at the start of the race, I have a little bit of an issue with my internet connection, so props to the guys and fair play to them that they wait. It's like, that's amazing that they wait if it's contender, so just for that I love this league. And props to Mark, he does his job, I did my job, so if it is one more race I think Mark was champion, but I think my consistency was like the key to the championship, and Mark was overall fastest. So GG to Mark, and I'm really happy now.
There you go, and I mean, consistency was definitely the key there. Now, I want to ask though here with this, I mean, it was an eventful, but for you at least, maybe not as eventful as we've been used to seeing for you here in the championship. Did you kind of have that in mind of knowing as long as you get a point or 2 points, you're good to go? So did you hold back a little bit, or were you still pushing as much as you possibly could, like you would any other race here on this finale?
Yeah, that's true. It's like a shame to win the championship on this race, but I have like not practice and all due to time, due to have no time. But at the end, I was just happy to fight a little bit with the guys with respect and not making unnecessary risks. So it was like a little bit from 90% going for it, and 1% like a little bit more the defenses of not going full send it.
Here we go. And I mean, my last little question is, after a strong showing last season in Division 3, moved up to Division 2, and doesn't seem like it's phased you all that much here, as we have officially confirmed. Do you think do you think we see you in the main division, up in Division 1 next season?
Well, I'm thinking for staying in this division. Like, I'm running with medium traction control, so I'm planning to turn it off completely, and then we will see what the pace is. But I think my pace then will be Division 2 pace.
Alright, so there you have it. But congratulations once again. And I mean, I see we've got our race winner who just jumped in. Maybe you heard the perfect time for Nole saying he's looking to take off traction control for next season. Maybe was hoping that you did that, maybe a little practice run this race. But a fantastic showing here. Mark, can you hear us at all?
Yes, I can, yes.
So, I'm gonna start by saying congratulations on the fantastic drive. Definitely involved in a lot of battles there. Did exactly what you had to do, but unfortunately just was not enough to snag the P1 in the Drivers' Championship. But second in the Drivers, still fantastic. But talk us through it. How are you feeling after that race, after this season?
Yeah, not bad, good season. Unfortunately, the people I paid to take out Mavako didn't take him out. So, so I could, no, but I was 40 points behind, I had no chance. Uh, all he had to do was get 1 point today, and he got P6, I think. So, yeah, solid performance from him. There's not much more than a race win I could have done today.
I mean, you had a lot of battles there going on through the entirety of the race. It looked like between yourself, Ilga, and It's Nazareth, you guys definitely got to know each other very well on track. But were you feeling nervous at all about maybe being unable to snag those essentially the 40 points here at the end of the race?
No, I wasn't nervous. I mean, I know I had the pace here. Showed it in qualifying, so I wasn't nervous at all. Just drove normally today and kept heading the game.
Perfect. Now, I mean, the last question I've got for you is: we've hit the end of the season, second in the Drivers' Championship, but from the champion himself, he even admitted that you had a little bit more pace than him here. So, do you think going into next season, do you think we see you up into the next tier? Do you think you foresee yourself maybe spending another season here in Division 2?
Not sure. It depends. It depends how obviously ISRL put the drivers for next season. If a new division opens with a new skill cap, if they want to make Division 1 even harder than it is now. So I wouldn't mind going up to Division 1. I think I have the pace, so yeah, it'd be fun, obviously, because if you race with people that are faster than you, you can only get better. So I wouldn't mind going up to Division 1, having a go.
Alrighty, well there you go. I mean, congratulations on the strong finish. Congratulations on the season to the both of you. Y'all were so quick in joining. I haven't even had the time to send the invites to the other podium sitters. So I'm just gonna take a quick moment and send them off here, just so I can maybe get a little bit of input from Ilgar and It's Nazareth. As said, it was some fantastic racing there between the two of you, and it was a fantastic way to cap off the season, if I'm being honest. Alright, I've got the invite sent off. I'll hang out just a tiny little bit and see if they're willing to jump in here and get some, see if I can get some input from their perspective after, at least about the race. After a fantastic battling, fantastic race here. Like I mentioned, fantastic way to cap off the season. But while I wait for some possible joiners here, I'm gonna do my little farewells here and thank everybody for tuning in through the entirety of the season. Thank everybody for tuning in here today. What a season it was! I can't stress that enough. And we've got great things coming up for next season. Season 5 will be held on the next installment of the F1 game. It'll be on F1 2021. So we will have a little bit of a break in the action between Season 4 and Season 5, but we've got tons of events lined up here to take part with them, so that way there's definitely going to be some racing between now and the next season. So definitely stay tuned for more information on that once we get that, once we can get that out to everybody to see. But fantastic race that was. I don't know if anybody has jumped in. It does not appear to be the case. So I'll give it just another 5 seconds. Don't mind me as I just extend the time just a tiny little bit. already. I don't think that's going to be the case. I might have waited a little bit too long, but we got the podium interviews from the two drivers that, I'll be honest, maybe mattered a little bit most for their input through the entirety of the, given their results here for the entirety of the season. But I think I'll wrap off the stream here as we've got the championship-winning Ferrari on the screen. So thank you so much for tuning in here today and through the entirety of the season. On behalf of everybody here at ISRL Esports, I'm saying thank you so much for watching, and make sure to tune in about half an hour's time for Division 1's race here around Brazil. It's going to be a great one. But until then, thank you so much for watching and have yourselves a fantastic day.